Hello Captains, it's me, TONIK TTW. We're here in the Tier 6 Premium Battleship, the Duke of York, which I think I got out of one of the crates we got for free over Christmas or sometime. I certainly didn't pay for it. This was from the live stream last night, which I think was Tuesday the 2nd of April, and I decided to use this one as the stream highlight game because I set a new personal best for both damage and base XP, and it felt like a little bit of a slow burner in that it took a lot of time to get started. I say a slow burner, but there's a guys now that's going to learn that this thing has a 41% fire chance. It has got enhanced HE penetration as well, so I decided to play a bit cautiously at the start. I've started the video 30 seconds into the game because I was looking around to see what was going on, and the carrier wasn't putting any planes in the sky. We were also up-tiered to a Tier 7 game, and there's some nasty big ships out there that I didn't want to get on the receiving end of. So, waiting for the carrier to get in, I know everybody hates seeing battleships reverse at the start. My reason for doing this is because I want to drop my detection range from the edge of the cap, because you'll notice that although there's a carrier in this game, there are no destroyers, which means that it is likely to be cruisers that are going to push onto the cap. There's also a Suzuya on red team, which is a nasty ranged HE spammer. There we go. There's an Amagi out there. There's the guys now out there, and I'm thinking this guy is looking to get tucked in on the corner of that island and looking to be able to crossfire onto Charlie Cap. We have got two ships dashing forward, but we're going to use the game mechanics here because we get our first fire onto that guys now. It's early game. It's sensible. He's going to let it tick. So I decide to go for the double fire. Now, the reason we don't go for triple fires these days is the guy now damage controls his fire, and I think, okay, that is perfect for me because we are now going to use our next couple of reloads and try and get a fire on him again, because that's what I like to call a stick and tick. And there it is. There is the first. So we are going to look for another salvo and see if we can get a second fire onto him and then just leave it. So the reason I don't go for 3 fires anymore is because a lot of people run this fight fire with fire, which means I think if their damage control is on cooldown, that it will automatically extinguish the triple fire. So double fires is what we're looking for. We're already, 10k damage just from fire ticks. It's not a huge amount, but I'm aware that there's a Vladivostok, the Amagi, and potentially the Amagi's gone now, the Hipper out there, and I'm asking the carrier if he can just keep that Gneiss now spotted. So he has decided that being on the side of the island is not where he wants to be, and he's going to push into the cap. But there's a Vladivostok out in front of him, and I'm looking across there and I'm thinking, okay, Vladivostok can bow tank him. This guy has damage controlled his fires again, and we are going to be an absolute nuisance. And I'm surprised I didn't get hate mail for this one, because as soon as he spotted again, we're going to go for another salvo of HE at that guy. There he is. So let's drop those shots across there. What's going to land on him this time? There we go. There's another fire. There's a cap reset, and again it looks like that one is going to be a stick and tick. He's trying to find some cover behind the island there. Looking at the angle that he's on, I'm guessing that's torpedoes going onto our Vladivostok. Red team's Vladivostok is across here, so we're going to go for his superstructure as he starts to back out and see if we can get a fire on him. There is one ticking on him. We're looking across there to see what's happening with the Gneiss now. and we decide that the Vladivostok is the next ship to go, so we're going to focus on him, but he's backing up behind that island there, and we're not going to get a shot on him. Now, Gleisnow goes. I thought it might be my fire ticking on there to take him down, but it wasn't. It was a fire from the Vladivostok. But the Gleisnow manages to take our Vladivostok with him as they both disappear back to port. So I decide now that I am going to push in. There's the Suzuya. That's really the ship that I didn't want to see. We've switched to armor piercing because I know that the Suzuya is a kiting cruiser. They like to zip around. I'm still looking at that Vlad thinking, can I get a shot across the top? There's a battleship and a cruiser out there that should be more than capable of taking care of him. And I'm just keeping my eyes peeled for the Suzuya. So as the game stands, we're 3 ships down each. I've only got just under 26,000 damage, which isn't a lot. You know, it seems to have been a very slow start to the game. But with those 2 guys on the left pushing the Vladivostok out, I'm pushing in towards the cap. So if they don't take him from the front, if he's just backing up and bow tanking them, then I might be able to get a flanking shot on him as I push into this cap. And I was saying on livestream, surely these guys must know that if he's bow tanking, just to switch to HE and burn him down. But we get the Suzuya spotted, who doesn't appear to be looking at us. His attention is elsewhere. He certainly knows I'm here now, and I'm thinking, okay, let's have a look how those do. Boom. Double Citadel, Dev Strike. We literally double our damage in one salvo. Vladivostok is still out there. I think he realizes that I'm going to be on his flank if he keeps backing up. So I'm going to try and get protected from him, but he disappears. That's good for me. He gets torpedoed, he's gone, and so we're going to put our guns to the right, because with the ships that are left, pinging the map there, asking the carrier for some intelligence information on where red team might be. There's another Vladivostok, an Iowa, there's a cruiser. Can't remember what the cruiser is, but there's also a carrier out here somewhere too, and it's the Graf Zeppelin, which has those nasty armor-piercing bombs. So I want to keep sailing in a straight line, get covered from this island, and not to get cap reset, so that we can start to give ourselves a bit more of an advantage over red team. There's the Vlad. I've only got AP loaded. He's angled. He's, I'm not expecting a great deal of this, and I think I would get about 3k off that salvo. Yep, there we go. Not a great deal. Had it been HE and we got another fire, it might have worked a little bit better. But I don't know what our carrier was doing here, because it's very obvious that that cruiser is pushing down from. And watching the replay back, I did notice that what happened across there on A-cap is the cruiser stayed and died. The guys who were with them there, they initially seemed to put up a bit of a fight, then ran away and came through to B. They took care of B-cap, which is great, but then they continued to sail away from B-cap and come across to Charlie. So this Vlad is bow on to them, and I'm going to try and go for another fire. It's a huge fire chance with this. That's actually some good grouping. We don't get a fire that time, but we take a little bit more damage off him, not a huge amount. And I'm looking around to see where my support is, because I very much seem to be the lead ship in this game. Everybody else is going towards where I've come from, and so being the lead ship, that means that I'm going to have the attention of the aircraft carrier. There's the Iowa, there's the Vladivostok, and so I decide that I'm going to have to pull into this island, give myself some cover from this Vladivostok, and wait for some of these guys to come round behind me and catch up. 64,000 damage available to us. Let me just tell you, that is going to jump up a little bit more, but enough to give me a personal best. I can't remember the exact number, but with 4 ships left in the game, I'm hoping that the guys who are behind me are going to take care of that New Orleans. Our carrier has still not moved. Surely, if you're playing carriers at this tier, you would know that if there's a ship pushing you and there's a potential that you're going to be spotted, looking at the fact that we have C flank completely secure, he could have pushed up the map and gotten into those little islands where the Vladivostok was, out on the flank of Charlie Cap. Now this Vladivostok and the Iowa both know that I'm coming, because the carrier planes are keeping me spotted. I'm trying to do what I can to shoot them down, and he's going to keep harassing me. And one of the things that you might have noticed at the start is that I do still use Will to Rebuild. Now I know that there's nobody in range of me here. I'm still quite healthy, but with an Iowa and a Vladivostok out here, that could very quickly change. So we're going to slow down, wait for this battleship to catch up behind us, thinking we can get a 2-ship push on here. But unfortunately, he is going to become the target for the carrier, and he is going to get knocked out of the game. So risky business here. Pushing around, we just want to see if we can get the carrier spotted. We can see where his planes are coming from, but again, our carrier has been far too busy with that cruiser. But there we go, broadside Iowa, we get a fire on him there, and I'm literally going to leave it on HE and decide that we're going to go balls to the wall. But then I think, oh dear, no, I remember now, there's a Vladivostok here as well. If I go around this corner, I'm going to be broadside to him. The Iowa damage controlled a single fire, which is probably one of the dumbest things he could have done. Given how many hit points he's got left, he could have left that tick for a long time. And as punishment for that, we're going to put another fire on him, and that is very obviously a stick and tick. We're going to load another salvo of HE, and we're going to go for this double fires again. We see where the Vladivostok is. He's pushed back through the center, so he's pushed back through under B cap. We don't want him coming round behind us, so we're going to go at this Iowa again with another salvo of HE. Triple fires there on him now. So is he running fire with fire? I don't think so, but we've switched to armor piercing. The carrier is still coming in to harass us. We're still quite healthy. We've got 30 seconds for another heal coming up. We take a bit of a clattering there from the Iowa. We damage control. I potentially should have left it a little bit longer, but this Iowa's given me a broadside, and that is not sensible at all. And back to port he goes with a Citadel hit. If there's one thing I've learned, it's where to shoot at an Iowa if he gives you a broadside. So I was quite pleased with that punch. Vladivostok there behind me, so I'm going to move away from him. There's plenty of ships behind me to help take care of him, and I am going to push for the carrier, who I know from where his planes are coming from is either behind one of these islands or he's going to be running down the side of the map. But we lose a turret to an armor piercing bomb. Unfortunately, as much as we're being harassed by this carrier, we aren't going to get a clear sky medal. It would have been a nice addition to the end screen, but there we go. Looking at the squadrons that are coming up, he's got very few planes left. We haven't wasted a damage control on repairing that turret. We've let it come up because if this guy gets a fire or a flood on us, we don't want to trade the rest of our hit points. We're going armor piercing here, and we're looking at how the shells are landing. Here come a couple of torpedoes. We knock another plane down, and I think at this point of the game he really doesn't have a lot left in his squadrons. The clock is ticking down against us. We've got a very significant points advantage. I'm going to wait for all my turrets to load and swing around here. Maybe I should have fired and gotten lucky with a Citadel hit. But I don't know what was going on here, because RNG decided that I'd had my fun for this game. I think we pick up a high caliber on just under 150,000 damage, and with seconds to go, I'm looking for my reload and I'm thinking, come on, we can break 150k here in this game on this Graf Spey, because I think this tier, pulling 150k for me in a battleship, is quite a reasonable expectation. Picking up the high caliber, that's 30% of the overall team hit points. We get a fire onto the Graf there, it gets damage controlled, and the game ends before we can potentially get in there and finish him off for the third kill of the game. But there we go, just over 158,000 damage, high caliber, plus the dev strike, but we smash through 3,400 base XP. I was expecting about a 2,700 game. We were more than 1,000 base XP above second place, and I'd like to think that even though that one started very slowly, that it turned into a very good game for me. New personal best for damage and base XP, and it made me feel a little bit better about playing battleships reasonably well. Stick around, click a link, smash like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, take care and goodbye.